The perfect marriage that never existed. The ballroom glowed with gold and crystal. It was the type of luxury that swallows a person whole, making them feel small, disposable. And tonight, that person was Amelia Stone. She stood near a tall arrangement of white orchids, smoothing the hem of her simple navy dress. She had sewn it herself, carefully pressing every seam. Her husband, Ethan Sinclair, always insisted they save for the future. She had obeyed every request, every sacrifice. Now she realized she was the only woman in the room not wearing custom couture. Tonight was Ethan's father's retirement gala. The patriarch of Sinclair Global, a man who built a billion-dollar empire. The entire city's elite were here. The chandelier light glinted off champagne flutes and diamonds. Amelia looked for Ethan. He was across the room, laughing loudly with a group of partners. He looked like he belonged here. She felt like an intruder. He caught her eye and frowned. Ethan approached, his jaw tight. "What did I tell you about that dress?" he whispered sharply. "It looks cheap." "You said we couldn't spend—" "Not here," he snapped. "Not tonight. You're embarrassing me." He plastered on a smile for nearby guests and squeezed her arm hard enough to make her gasp. His mother, Victoria Sinclair, sweeping past in a gown dripping with sapphires, glanced at Amelia with thinly veiled disgust. "Oh dear," Victoria sighed dramatically. "Did you stand too close to the buffet? Your dress looks rumpled." A few nearby guests chuckled. Amelia felt her cheeks burn. Before she could respond, Victoria brushed past her, muttering, "No refinement. Ethan should have married correctly." Amelia bit her tongue. She had endured this for 6 years. 6 years of subtle insults, corrections, manipulations, all because Ethan promised he loved her, that his family would eventually warm up to her. Tonight, she sensed something was different. He was colder, distant, almost triumphant. The humiliation. Just before midnight, Ethan clinked his glass. "Speech!" someone shouted. He stepped onto the stage next to his father, smiling broadly. "Thank you for being here," Ethan began. "Tonight marks a new era for Sinclair Global." Amelia smiled, proud of him. For years she'd encouraged him, supported him, stayed up helping him rehearse. Then Ethan gestured toward her. "And I must also acknowledge the woman who stood by me, even if she was never truly a fit for this world." Laughter rippled across the room. Amelia froze. Ethan continued, voice dripping with arrogance. "We all know marriages don't always last, but business, legacy, those things do." Amelia's blood ran cold. Was he— Before she could move, Ethan stepped off the stage, grabbed her elbow painfully and hissed, "Come outside, now!" He dragged her toward the exit. Several guests watched with interest. Outside, under the cold glow of the street lamps, Ethan pushed her away. "It's over," he said simply. "What?" "Ethan, don't make a scene," he crossed his arms. "Tomorrow morning the divorce papers arrive. You'll sign them quietly. You leave with nothing." Amelia staggered back. "Nothing? Ethan, I left my job for you. "Yes," he said flatly, "and thank you for your service." "Service?" he smirked. "My father never would have promoted me if I didn't appear to be a stable married man. You played your role." The truth hit her like a blow. "You used me," she whispered. Ethan shrugged. "You were convenient, and your last name helped." "My last name?" "Your family's reputation," he said, impatient. "Stone legacy, philanthropy, old money. It made me look grounded, respectable, investors like that." Amelia felt sick. Her parents had been dead for years, their foundation dormant. But the Stone name still carried weight. "And now," she whispered, "now I don't need you." Before she could react, security approached. "Escort her home," Ethan ordered. "She's no longer welcome here." Amelia stared at the man she had loved and saw a stranger. As the guards led her toward a waiting car, Ethan turned away without looking back. Inside the vehicle, she broke, silent tears, shaking hands. A pain so deep it felt physical. But as the car began to move, her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Amelia, it's time you learn the truth. Your mother left you something Ethan never discovered. Check your email. Do not go home. Her heart pounded. Who sent this? And what truth? She opened her email on trembling hands. There, freshly delivered, was a letter addressed to her, from her mother, written 20 years ago. Part 3. The inheritance she never knew about Amelia opened the email. Her mother's voice echoed in her mind as she read, "My dearest Amelia, if you're reading this, you are an adult, and the Stone Trust has finally transferred to your name. This trust includes full ownership of Stone Industries, liquid assets totaling $480 million, millions all family properties, and controlling interest in multiple foundations." Amelia gasped. "What?" she whispered. She had grown up believing her family lost everything after her parents died in a plane crash. She'd been raised by a distant aunt who told her there was little inheritance, just enough to get by. But this letter, it shattered everything. "I hid the trust for your protection," her mother continued. "Many sought to exploit us. When you are ready, the trustees will find you." Another email arrived, a second letter, this one from the Stone Trust legal executor. "Mrs. Amelia Stone Sinclair, your access has been activated. You are now the sole owner of Stone Industries. The trustees await your direction." Another line followed. "It appears your husband attempted to gain information about the trust 10 months ago. His inquiry was denied." Something snapped inside Amelia. He knew. He knew she came from money. He tried to access it. He thought she was poor, naive, alone. But she wasn't, not anymore. Her tears dried on their own. A new emotion rose. Cold, clear, sharp, power. She straightened in the seat. "Driver," she said, voice firm, "take me to the Stone Tower." The man glanced at her through the rearview mirror and nodded as though he had been waiting years for this moment. "Yes, Miss Stone." Part 4. Becoming the woman he should have feared. The Stone Tower stood tall and silent, its rooftop lights glowing like a crown against the night sky. Inside the private executive penthouse, the trustees, all older, distinguished individuals, stood at attention. "Ms. Stone," the chairman said respectfully, "we've awaited your return for 20 years." Amelia swallowed hard. "My husband." "We know," the chairman said. "He sought to exploit the trust. We denied him. His behavior toward you meets criteria for immediate legal intervention." Amelia shook her head. "No, no police, not yet." "Then what would you like to do?" She inhaled deeply. "Everything he stole, the years, the dignity, the love I gave, I want it back." A slow smile spread across the chairman's face. "In that case, you'll enjoy what comes next, the fall of Ethan Sinclair." Ethan swaggered into Sinclair Global the next morning, fully prepared to serve Amelia with divorce papers. Instead, he found chaos, whispers, rushed footsteps, his assistant pale as paper. "Sir, Stone Industries just bought Sinclair Global, full acquisition, hostile takeover." Ethan blinked. "That's impossible." A voice came from behind him. "It's reality." He turned. Amelia stood there, not in a cheap dress, but in a tailored black suit, heels clicking like a metronome of judgment, hair sleek, eyes sharp. She radiated authority, pure, cold, beautiful authority. "Amelia," he breathed. "Mrs. Stone," she corrected. What is this?" She handed him a folder. "Effective immediately. I am the majority shareholder of Sinclair Global. As per board vote this morning, you are removed as CEO." Ethan's face drained of colour. "You can't—" "I can," she said softly, and I did. Security stepped beside her, her security. Ethan took a shaky step backward. "Amelia, wait, sweetheart, we can talk." "No," she said, voice steady. You used me. You humiliated me. You planned to discard me like trash, but you made one mistake. He swallowed hard. What mistake? You underestimated the woman carrying the stone legacy. Victoria Sinclair arrived just in time to hear the last sentence. She stared between them, stunned. What's happening? Mrs. Sinclair, Amelia said calmly, your son is being escorted out. You may gather your belongings as well. Your corporate cards have been frozen. Victoria gasped. You can't do this. Amelia's gaze hardened. You treated me as less than human for 6 years. Consider this repayment. 2 guards escorted Victoria out as she screamed about breeding and social class. Amelia didn't flinch. Ethan, trembling, tried one last time. Amelia, please, I don't have anything left. She stepped closer, voice soft but lethal. You had everything, and you threw it away. She leaned in. Now leave before I truly ruin you. Ethan's lips trembled. Where will I go? She held his gaze. Somewhere far from me. Security took him by the arms. This time he didn't resist. He knew it was over. The doors closed behind him with a final echo. Part 6. The New Life. Weeks passed. Sinclair Global was renamed Stone Innovations. Employees who had been mistreated were promoted. Scholarships were created in her parents' names. Amelia felt whole again. One evening, she stood in her penthouse overlooking the city. She expected to feel triumphant. Instead, she felt peaceful. Her phone buzzed. A message from the same unknown number that had changed her life. Your mother would be proud. You reclaimed everything Ethan tried to steal. Now live your life freely. For the first time in years, Amelia smiled genuinely. She stepped out onto the balcony as the wind carried away the remnants of her past. She wasn't the woman Ethan married. She wasn't the woman he used. She wasn't the victim. She was the owner. She was the legacy. She was Amelia Stone, and she finally belonged to herself. The end, if you want, I can also write. Part 2, Amelia's new love story. Part 2, Ethan's downfall in gritty detail. Another long story with a different twist, a full book version.